back. It's time, Ethan. Man, this microphone sounds good. These headphones sound good. This camera looks good. Or at least I make the camera look good. Oh, I don't know about that. Definitely all the buttons you press over there that we spend 30 minutes trying to do to even get this party started. But this is episode 104 of the CWG Chat with Gunner podcast. What up, bro?
What's up?
Man, I just got back from, well, I didn't just get back, but let's recap the weekend. Just got back from a last-minute, spontaneous trip to Jacksonville, Florida. Went down there, watched UFC 273. So, funny story, this is how this worked. Laying in bed Thursday night, Tia goes, hey, do you want to go to Jacksonville this weekend? And I was like, why would we go to Jacksonville this weekend? She was like, the fights are this weekend. And I was like, yeah, no. That's, one, too expensive. Two, I'm tired. All we do is do things. Three, I got to wrestle Friday night. Don't really want to go straight to Jacksonville. So after one quick Google search on how close Jacksonville, Florida is to Atlanta, which is right at 4 hours, my excuse of not wanting to drive far goes out the window because I always tell her 4 hours is nothing. Anything over 4 hours, I'm not a fan of. So that immediately was thrown back into my face, which is true. I don't mind driving 4 hours. Now, the other 2 hours getting to Canton or Atlanta, we didn't throw into the mix, but I'll give it to her. So go wrestle. We go to Jacksonville, and then we go to watch UFC 273. My new favorite up-and-coming fighter, Hamzat, versus Gilbert Burns, and that fight fucking over-delivered. Ethan, that was my fifth event now, right?
Yep.
I've been to 3 pay-per-views and 2 fight nights. So let's just say this. In order of best events so far, it's really hard to beat the first one because we saw 2 of the best fights of that year when we saw Dustin Poirier fight Max Holloway and also saw Kevin Gastelum fight Israel Adesanya. So that one's really hard to beat, but, still doable. The next one, really hard to beat Colby versus Jorge Masvidal because those are 2 of my favorite fighters, and it's real. But we all kind of knew what the outcome of that was going to be. So, but it was Vegas too, first time in Vegas. Really hard to beat that trip. The other 2 fight nights, one I went with my dad. That was real cool, mainly because I got to go with my dad. The other one we got to take a couple of the guys from a couple of my customers out in Columbus too. So that was cool because of customers. This one, the only reason I was interested in going, well, 2 reasons. One, I get to go be with Tia for a weekend by herself, and we rarely get to do that. 2, Hamzat, up-and-coming prospect, was fighting Gilbert Burns. And I'm just an extreme fan of that guy. So we go down there. This thing, like, we've been in Vegas, we've been in Atlanta, and now we've been in Jacksonville. The worst arena so far out of all of them is Jacksonville. The smallest arena out of all of them so far is Jacksonville. The most energy in an arena so far was Jacksonville. Dude, pretty chill all night for the most part. When that Hamzat and Gilbert Burns fight started, I have never in my sports playing career, in my fan attending career, have ever been a part of an energetic crowd like Jacksonville, Florida. It had to be the closest thing that you could compare being in the Coliseum watching gladiators fight back in the day. The only way I can compare it. Like, it blew my mind. It was fascinating. I've got the whole thing on camera. I'll show you as soon as we get done with the show. Like, you can just, you heard the crowd. Like, with every punch, it was, it just kept getting louder and louder. Then at the end of each round, 15,000 people standing up, clapping. You'd start the match, like, we were 5 rows up from the risers, or 5 rows in the risers off the floor, great seats. But you'd start the round in your seat, and I was videoing the whole time, and slowly as the round went, you just crept up in your seat to where you're fully standing with 15,000 people cheering for these 2 animals to fight each other. And it was fantastic. Long, but fantastic. It was, I think, the longest East Coast show in the history of the UFC. We started at 6 and we got out of there about 2 a.m. in the morning. So that was a little bit of a struggle. but it was a great experience. But before that, wrestled on Friday night in Canton, Georgia, Southern Honor Wrestling. I know, you're supposed to like keep the stories going and do all the stuff, but obviously if you're listening to this, you're listening for me, so I give you the behind-the-scenes scoop of what goes on. So we're in the middle of the Tank versus Gunner storyline. This has been going on now since the Southern Honor, the Rumble Jack, where I eliminated Tank, and then he's been distracting my matches almost now for the past half year, and we finally met a few times in the ring where he's been beating me up in the ring. I've yet to get the best of him other than the Rumble Jack. So it was advertised that we were going to have our first match. We were going to have a professional wrestling match, not a death match, a professional wrestling match with rules, damn it, right? And I put over the fact that Tank is a great worker. Tank's been around Southern wrestling longer than I've been wrestling. Tank's been having great matches with people forever. He doesn't have to do death match wrestling to get a pop or to get the reaction from the crowd. It doesn't matter that he's older now. He can still get the job done, and I wanted to challenge him in a professional wrestling match. That being said, the story we're building up here is we've got to get to the payoff. I'm not going to say what the payoff is yet, but everybody can realize what the payoff is going to be. So my music plays for 60 seconds, and I don't come out. Then Tank's music plays, and him and Rev go out. They go out to the crowd. They start running down. Where's Gunner? Where's he at? Was he afraid to show up? Could he not make it? All these times. Where is he? They're like looking under the ring, making a mockery of the whole situation. So at this point, in the back, I find myself standing in front of a mirror with a shirt on that I've already ripped to make it look as if I've been jumped in the backstage area. And Tank rigged me up a gimmick, is what we'll call it, of a razor blade cut and taped with athletic tape to a point to where if I take that razor blade and stick it into my skull until it touches the athletic tape, it should touch my skull. And at that point, when you remove it, you should be bleeding, right? So, I've done this once in my professional wrestling career. I'm not a fan of it. One, I don't like needles. Two, I'm not a fan of hurting myself. Three, have you ever just tried to stab yourself with a razor blade?
Yeah, no, what?
Yeah, it's not most people that, hurt themselves with a razor blade get put on suicide watch, right? In wrestling, it's just part of the game. So I've done it one time before early on in my career, like 2015, and the way we did it, I didn't even know what I was doing. Tank actually made that one for me as well, and I'd went out and I was supposed to get hit with a championship belt. So in the ring, the referee handed it to me at one point, and I'm trying to hit my forehead to get blood, and it didn't really come off that great. But anyways, so this time, but you don't when you're in the middle of a match and there's people watching you, you have adrenaline going. Like that's a completely different story than standing in the back waiting to go out, and you're looking in front of a mirror with all the workers and people around you being like, yeah, just do it in your hairline. Just go ahead and just stab it. So I had to stab myself in the skull, Ethan, 4 times with this razor blade. I'll show you the marks too. Different parts of my skull to where I got some pretty good blood. Got some pretty good blood going. Looked like I'd been jumped in the back. My whole plan was I had to sell it walking out the crowd, almost like a concussion type. You just got jumped. So I'm stumbling, bumbling, falling over. I finally make it to the ring. The match gets started. I'm throwing punches, but I can't connect because there's blood in my eye and I can't see. And Tank eventually beats me 1-2-3 with me getting absolutely 2% offense in with just a few punches. So obviously we're building up for something a little bit deeper as that match goes. But it was a great crowd. I think there was about 550 people there. The third show in a row that Southern Honor has drawn over 500 people. So it was it was a good experience, and we went straight to Jacksonville. I drove all from blood in my head, stabbed myself with a razor, drove straight to Jacksonville. We got there about 2 o'clock in the morning, slept in, got up, had a great time. So that was my weekend. And then on our way home, drive 7 hours home. Probably 8 or 9 hours because traffic was absolutely miserable hitting Atlanta traffic and going through Valdosta too, which for some reason was terrible. So Tia's working nights, and we get home just in time for her to be able to go to work. This is not funny, but she literally leaves. I drove the whole way home, right? Whole way there too. 14 hours of me driving, right? I hope she doesn't watch this. 14 hours of me driving, and she gets in the car to go to work. She calls me 5 minutes after she's been in the car. And I answer. I'm like, hey, what's up? She goes, where are you? I was like, right where you left me. I'm at the house. She's like, well, I think I hit a curb and the tire's flat. At that time, I get a notification on my phone from the GMC app, and it goes, PSI at 8. And I'm like, okay, for the PSI to be at 8, that means the entire bottom of the tire has to be flat. Right? Yeah. So I go to grab my keys, and my keys are in her purse. So I can't get to her. So I go to grab an Uber. The nearest Uber to me is 25 minutes away. Good including Lord. That time. It would take me 40 minutes to get over there to her. So I call Dad, have Dad go over there, sit with her. He ends up bringing me my keys. I drive my truck to her. I call roadside emergency and have them bring out somebody to fix it. I got a picture. I'll show you the picture too. I got a bunch of things to show you. But so I get to her. Obviously, she hit a curb. Maybe going 50 miles per hour. I don't know, because this thing is completely flat. The rim's a little bit beat up. But the only thing that matters is that she's okay. I don't care about the car. She's okay, and that's cool. So we got that straightened out. But that was how we ended our trip. I feel like whenever we get back from a long trip, something happens. My alternator died in the Challenger one time, and then this happened. We're here. But anyways.
Stop going on trips.
That's right. I know, right? But we're back, Ethan.
Yeah.
What'd you do this weekend? Anything cool?
Me? Yeah. Do anything? Never. I don't do things. Realistically, like, past couple weeks, I haven't been working at the old job. I've just been working here.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Congratulations.
Although, to be fair, I have offered, and I just haven't been put on schedules. So,
hey, you know. I actually went and got anchors that Sunday night, too.
Yeah.
Over there off Harrison.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Steak and a sack is
so
phenomenal.
I kind of want to go get some now.
Right, I'm about to go there on my way home, dude.
But no, I've just had weekends off, and can I just say that since graduating high school, I haven't had weekends off. 2 weekends in a row I've been off, and it's amazing.
Well, because you've either worked retail or serving,
or in the food industry.
So you're making your money on the weekends.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So, yeah. Well, that's cool. That's really cool.
So yeah, this is being here a lot more, working on like a lot of different stuff in the background. Just not even stuff that may even see the light of day, which is nice. It's actually kind of what I want.
Yeah.
It's just like work on stuff, have it in the back burner, have it on the Google Drive for forever, and then just never touch it. I'd much rather that than not get to work on something. So.
You know what? We're gonna have to do an interview with you one day. Have a chat with Gunner. Obviously, you're part of the chat with Gunner.
Yeah, but you don't interview me.
Yeah, but I'm talking about sit down and really dive deep into what you do, because I don't think people understand the skill set that you have and what you actually have to do to make a lot of this stuff happen.
Yeah.
I think that people could do it. I think that we could figure it out, but it saves that time and energy just not having to. That's a whole different thing you have to learn. Also, real quick, side note.
Yeah.
Would you ever use shampoo and conditioner?
I mean, I use shampoo and conditioner.
Would you ever use shaving cream?
I don't shave, so no.
Would you ever use aftershave if you did shave?
I actually would probably just use aftershave just freshen up a little bit.
If you had a beard, would you use beard oil?
I guess I would use it the same way I would use aftershave, since I don't shave.
Funny story. For all those woods I just asked you, I may have the biggest wood at the table.
Yeah? What is it?
And that wood is a Barstool Sports Company, I guess a Barstool company, a brand here. You got everything you need for the men's line. You got the shampoo and conditioner. You got the aftershave. You got the shaving cream. And for us lucky folks who are manly enough to grow one, you got the beard oil. So I think it's really cool. I know Sting brought this in. He said that you guys have been in contact with him.
I can give you a little bit of the background.
Sure.
So Riddle, Zach, our social media guy.
Social media guru.
He's just super smart about all things social media. He brought it in Tuesday.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey guys, we should do like some videos just for this product, because we're just doing stupid random dumpster fire TV on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
We're just doing stupid videos because that's what people like to watch. So we're just making dumb videos." And he brings in this shaving cream and the aftershave. And I think the face wash he brought in.
Mm-hmm.
Today he brought in the beard oil and then 2 shampoos and conditioners. But he brought it in. He was like, "Guys, we should make some dumb videos because it's called Wood." And Sting obviously has. The first video we did was he went into the bathrooms and used the face wash and talked about how much he loves his morning wood.
Listen, Sting's done a bunch of dumb shit. That's a good one.
That is pretty good. I mean, my tagline for the one I wanted to do, which I didn't do because Sting had already done the morning wood one, was "Wood, what's in your pants?" Because we kept like taking it out of our pants as we were doing the thing. So that was just the dumb thing.
Hey,
anyway,
it's smart.
Yeah, I would like.
And
to think
you
so.
obviously know they were branding it in that direction when they were talking.
The
about
website for the company to buy it is called getwood.com.
Okay. And I see right here it's like Wood Grooming, Wood, a Barstool brand.
WOULD. Just to clarify.
And that's funny too. So my first question, being in logistics, goes, who ships Barstool products?
That's a good question.
Because Barstool is not a small brand.
No.
They have not a small following. And that following is a bunch of 15 to 35-year-old dudes that I'm sure would purchase these grooming materials.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that they need more than just a small warehouse and a small truck to move it. And if I'm looking at it, it's distributed by FAF Grooming, LLC, out of Edison, New Jersey. So that's who I need to get in contact with. FAF Grooming.
This is going to be the
LLC.
story of how Gunner gets his biggest ticket yet.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them. We're going to clip that. We need to come up with we'll just make this an unofficial sponsor of the show. An unofficial
Well, that's
promoted
okay.
product of the show.
So to finish the story, though, we made like 3 videos. It was me, Sting, and Steven here in the office.
Yep.
And we posted them. I don't know if they got a lot of traction, but Wood, their social media guy or girl, whoever it was, reached out to us and they were like, "Can we just send you like a box of stuff and you guys keep making these videos? Because this is awesome. We love it." So,
Yep.
I mean, technically not a sponsor, but technically a sponsor of Dumpster Fire Studios.
Well, I was watching a podcast the other day, the Full Send podcast.
Absolutely.
What's that guy's name? Bob Menery?
Bob Menery, yep.
What a controversial character that guy is, huh? I mean,
sure.
In a good way. I mean, I like his stuff for sure. Listen, there was some stuff that came out about him setting up Colby Covington, the whole Jorge Masvidal deal. If that's true, that's pretty snaky, and he's a piece of shit for that. But it's not. It cannot be proven accurate, so I'm not going to bash anybody. But him and Dave Portnoy had quite the following out back in the day.
Evidently.
And Dave came onto the show. Did you watch it?
I have not.
Dave came onto the show just recently, and they aired it all out and discussed it. And first of all, I love the fact that 2 grown-ass men can get on TV and agree to disagree and also agree to agree on the same story. So imagine this. They both had their perspective of how the story went down. Dave told it, and he allowed Bob to jump in and tell his side of the story when it got to a point that he didn't necessarily agree with.
Any discrepancies between them.
Guess what? They came to a mutual conclusion on how the story should be told moving forward.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Shouldn't the rest of the world kind of do that? I'm trying to do that right now. So, obviously this show's been a lot about sports and conspiracies, and we've done interviews, and it's been boxing, MMA, and pro wrestling.
Trading cards.
With trading cards.
Gambling.
Working out, fasting, Adderall addictions. I mean, listen.
We've hit the gambit.
If people don't understand how much of an open book I am and can't respect that, you just haven't been paying attention. And one of these days, if you want to go back through and you want to binge 100 and whatever episodes, you can really learn a lot about me. You can watch episodes that Ethan did by himself and all the times that he's jumped into our conversations and added very positive insight to a bunch of conversations, especially in the political world. How open we are, how open-minded we are, how not closed off we are, and how we really just want people to be able to listen to this and be like, oh, those guys are pretty cool. And the people that do listen to this do say, those guys are pretty cool. They're not the smartest people in the world, not the dumbest people in the world. They're very open-minded, and they're willing to have conversations with anybody. So I am on a mission to become a LinkedIn influencer at this point in my life, Ethan.
Oh, boy.
Well, I say that with a grain of salt. So on LinkedIn, there's, buku's amount of people that are on there, millions upon millions of people on the old LinkedIn. And a lot of people just use it as like a resume site, resume builder, connecting with people higher up at certain companies. What you don't realize is that a lot of people that are on LinkedIn, first of all, actually have money to make decisions to be able to purchase things and support your dreams that you may want to be supported. Another thing about LinkedIn is that people are on LinkedIn that are in high up enough roles or high up enough titles or business owners that don't do any other social media. That is their social media. They don't use a Facebook. They don't use Twitter. They don't use Instagram. They don't use these other things. They don't use YouTube or whatever. They may consume it, but they don't use it. So you can actually have conversations with people that maybe you never thought you could have a conversation with. And the influencers that are on Instagram and on Twitter and on YouTube are much different than the influencers that you would call on LinkedIn. If you're able to provide some sort of value to someone for free on LinkedIn that is going to help them out in their career or in their business, you're going to grab attention. So there's a company in town, large company in town, Chattanooga, logistics company. They're pretty much not a spin-off, but the continuation of a very successful logistics company several years ago, which was Access America. And this company's name is Steam Logistics. Now, Steam is balling right now. Steam is out there. First of all, they got me talking about them, and that's what they want, right? That's the whole game, get other people talking about you, and if people are talking about you doing something right, whether you're doing it right or wrong. So Steam is out there. I mean, they've went from like a small office in Chattanooga to hundreds of employees, several offices across the country. They're continuing to grow. It seems like they do have really good leadership and guys that have a like-minded goal, and they're attacking the same things. Now, Steam is trying to be a disruptor in the logistics space because they're going after the insignificance of what a non-compete is. Stay with me. So pretty much they're trying to get rid of the non-compete. In logistics, a bunch of people jump company to company, team to team, and non-competes can get in the way. Maybe you can't hire that person for a few months, 6 months, a year, whatever it might be. And I guess the point to where it's like, can you really tell somebody where they can work and where they can't work just because they're in a similar industry? I think that's kind of shady. Also, I think, honestly, it's just really shitty. So they're going after non-competes and people that are trying to enforce them. And they're pretty much saying, if you have a non-compete, come to Steam. Our legal guys will make sure nothing happens. We're trying to get rid of a non-compete. If you want to leave Steam at any time, feel free to leave Steam because we want you to be happy. That's a great message, Ethan. It's a very great message. Their president is out there tooting the horn. Their social media department is out there tooting the horn. Their marketing department is doing a great job of getting out who the Steam brand is. Well, whenever something sounds too good to be true, I get a little skeptical, and I do too agree that it may be too good to be true. And this is why I say that. In logistics, a non-compete really doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe in the past some people have been burned by it. I think those people just didn't know the right people or the right laws or know the right verbiage, or they didn't strategically think about their exit in the right way, because there's definitely ways around it. I mean, even you got even Biden at the very top trying to get rid of non-competes in general, and I think he's right on that. Now, the one thing that doesn't get talked about in logistics or maybe in any industry, I can't speak for any industry, because here's what have I done? I've done football, I've done pro wrestling, and now I'm in logistics. So I'm going to speak to those, all right? So speaking logistics, one aspect of it that doesn't get the same response or the same amount of conversation time is the non-solicit. Now, why is that? Why are we trying to get rid of the non-compete but not talk about the non-solicit? What's the difference between the two? I'd say I truly maybe don't know the exact difference between the two. Here's what I think it is, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Non-compete would mean you can't go to another company similar to the one that you was working at. That's very basic ABCs. I would say a non-solicit would be not only can you not go to a company that you were working at, a similar industry, but you can't be in contact with any customer that the previous company had, right? Because then that would, I guess, maybe be a benefit to the new company you're going to. Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. So Steam is over here tooting the horn and saying we're getting rid of a non-compete. They even bought innnoncompetes.com. You can look that up, Ethan. They got a nice little fancy video with it. It's in Steam colors, and they're out there. Every social media post they do, in non-competes. Every interview they do, in non-competes. On freight waves, in non-competes. Have a petition. Sign this petition to get your company to be onboarded with ending non-competes. Listen, that's a great cause. All I'm asking, the only question I'm saying, and I've got it on a poll right now on LinkedIn that's doing very well. I've asked this question to the president of Steam Logistics. I've asked this question to many industry leaders, especially in the Chattanooga area, because that's who I can touch. That's who I can feel. That's who I can grab. That's who I can be a part of. What about the non-solicit? What is Steam's non-solicit? I don't know what it is for a fact, but a little birdie has told me that it might be one of the longest non-solicits in the game. So here's a company talking about how non-competes are a predatory practice that is, disheartening for employees that are in the supply chain, logistics, transportation business. However, they're saying, come over here where we don't believe in non-competes. You don't have to have a non-compete. We will fight your non-compete. And guess what? If you don't like being here at Steam, you can go and work at any of these companies. But you can't talk to any of the customers that Steam has. Well, Steam is a very large logistics company, which means they have a bunch of customers, which means if you leave Steam, since you don't have to worry about your non-compete, and you go to another company in the industry, you pretty much can't talk to any customers. Therefore, you can't get into sales, which means you're not going to be able to make a lot of money. You can't be an account manager, which means you're not going to make a lot of money. I mean, you could be a manager, but you can't manage any people that are going to be dealing with these accounts. So that's the sticky part. So I said that the real predatory practice that is happening in logistics is not the non-compete, but more so the non-solicit. Now, I've had a little bit of backfire on that, and I get it. I do get it. Listen, when you say something that polarizing, and when you pick a side, whether it's left or right, there's going to be people to argue with. The good thing about this show is we like to pick a side. Whether we're right or wrong, we're open-minded about it. We're willing to have a conversation about it, and the side I picked is going to have a little bit of pushback. It also had a lot of agreeants. Now, that agreeants seemed to be in my direct messages, but there's also a lot of people that agreed and shared it and posted it and commented below. And they're in the poll right now. I said, should we end non-solicits? And currently, yes is winning. So, and right now it's been my highest impressed poll, I guess you would say, or the most viewed poll, or the most polled poll, or whatever it is. What's the word I'm looking for when you get a little most contributed poll?
Yes.
So my thing is, in non-solicits, why can't we have the conversation? In a perfect world, what I want to do is I want to have a panel with logistics leaders in Chattanooga, since we are Freight Alley, since we are the scenic city, since we are the transportation hub of the South, since we are this huge supply chain industry, and it's a large makeup of what Chattanooga is. We should have a panel. The panel should be on LinkedIn, and it should be live. And it should be live for everybody to see during the workday, so that it can actually get views, and that we can have comments come in, and we can answer questions real time. You've got Freight Waves, the only media company in logistics. Guess where they're out of? Chattanooga. Perfect. It's perfect. They've been on there talking about non-competes. Let's get them on there. Let's talk about some non-solicits. I just want to know, why can't we have the same conversation about non-solicits that we have about non-competes? Well, Gunner, it's because if you don't have a non-solicit, and if you go to another company, that company is liable to offer you a lot of money, and then you're going into a bidding war, and it's just going to increase salaries around town in logistics, and you could steal a customer that maybe wasn't yours, Gunner. I get that. Listen, I'm not saying it's black and white. I'm not saying there is, we have to be strict on what these rules are. All I'm saying is, in non-solicits, yes, that gets attention. But what I'm really saying is, let's have a conversation about non-solicits. Because nothing should necessarily be black and white. There should be a little bit of gray to everything. There's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be that one example that's going to overrule the 99 percentile of examples, right? Whether you're talking about sports, politics, whatever. There's always that outlier example that someone's going to take and drive home. And it's like, well, bro, that's 1% of what we're talking about. Let's talk about the 99%, okay? Let's try to make a change here. So in a perfect world, I would like, and this is an invitation, I even posted it on LinkedIn, and nobody wanted to talk about it. But this is what I'm suggesting. A panel on either Freight Waves or my LinkedIn channel or whatever. We can sit down in person. We can do it on webcam, however you guys want to do it. I want some industry leaders in town, some business owners, some people that are boots on the ground day to day in logistics, having to make hiring and firing decisions for their company. And I want to know, why can't we have the same conversation that we're having about non-competes about non-solicits? That's all I want to know. And listen, I'm not saying I know everything. I'm truly curious. It's not like I'm going to get up there and start just throwing out a bunch of random facts. I don't know the facts. I'm trying to be told the facts. Somebody tell me why we can't get rid of non-solicits. Now, gray area. Here's what my true thoughts are. I think that if a customer is onboarded, let's say Steam Logistics has customer A. Customer A has been there since 2018. All right? Employee comes in 2020 and brings on customer B. Customer B now becomes one of the top customers for that company. But that employee doesn't work on customer A whatsoever. He only deals with customer B. He's the reason customer B is at that company. He's the reason customer B is one of the top customers for that company. And it's built on relationship. Well, the employee doesn't feel as if he's as valuable as he should be to that company, or maybe just doesn't get along with leadership, or maybe good things. Maybe he just has to move. Maybe he just has to relocate because his wife got a promotion. Or maybe something happened in his family. He's got to go take care of his parents or his grandparents, or life happens and he has to go somewhere. Or maybe he just can't stay there any longer, but he wants to stay in the industry. Maybe he wants to start his own brokerage or get to an agency or whatever it might be. Whatever the excuse is, plenty of gray areas here. We can go through them all. I'm willing to, but to save time, plenty of gray areas. So say this guy needs to leave, or this gal needs to leave, or they need to leave, whatever. they can't take their customer with them because they have a non-solicit. So you're telling me that the customer that wasn't there prior to the employee coming there, that came there due to that employee doing everything to get them signed up, to make them as big as they are, to bring all that money in, big or as small as they are, whatever it is. Now that customer can't go with that employee to wherever he goes because of a non-solicit. And you're saying as a company that you're trying to take care of the rest of the people at the company by protecting that customer because that customer is helping pay for the rest of the people. Even if you run a pod structure and the only people that should be being paid off of that account are the higher up people and the people that are associated to that account, mainly the person that brought that account on. So I don't understand where that's helping protecting the company and the employees and the whole grand scheme of things. Now, example B. Say this customer's been there since 2018. Steam brought that customer on. It's been there. It's a house account. Many people have hands in it. It's a large reason of why Steam is even big, and it helps provide an income to everybody and helps feed everybody's families, right? That's big staple to the account. Employee comes in, 2020. He's a rogue employee. He's a sketchy employee. Maybe he didn't get treated right. He didn't get a day off that he wanted. He didn't get a vacation time. People are yelling at him. He doesn't take criticism well, right? He's just not a good guy, not a good gal, not a good day. Anyways, whatever that thing is. So this person decides to take all the information out of the database, take all the contacts, build a relationship briefly before he's departing, let that customer know, hey, I'm leaving, but if you want to come with me, I'll cut down your prices. I'll do all this stuff. And then he goes out and gets into a bidding war with another logistics company and says, hey, I can bring X company with me from over here from Steam, and we can make a lot of money, but I'm going to need you to pay me $250,000 plus a bonus. And they're like, I can't do that. And he's like, yeah, but this company over here said they'll pay me $300K. And they're like, then you get to a bidding war and you start raising salary prices in town. Then you leave. You take that customer. It hurts Steam. Now it helps this other company out, but they're also paying you a lot of money because of a salary, and they're taking a risk on that. So, right, it gets a little confusing. There's the gray area. That's where I agree with a non-solicit. So it's not that I don't agree with non-solicits. It's not that I do agree with non-solicits. It's simply that I wish there was a conversation taking place about non-solicits that actually mattered, because non-competes do not, regardless of it. It doesn't matter. End of the day, they're going away. So why are we trying to toot our horn and say, let's get rid of them? Yay, yay, non-competes, no, yay. Non-solicits is the real problem. That's the real predatory practice. So we need to figure out a way to put some verbiage in and write it on paper and put a legit contract down that maybe every company has to sign, something that is mutual across all 3PLs and logistics companies, that says you cannot contact a customer that you did not bring on prior to you being there, right? So the only customers that you can go after are customers that you brought on, you have the relationship with after you appeared at that company. And that customer should have a say in who they get to work with, not based on who reaches out to who. The customer shouldn't have to reach out to you to ask you to work with them and then have to ask the company for permission. That shouldn't be how it goes. It should simply be this. If the customer wants to work with a certain rep, and that rep brought that customer to that company after he was employed, that should be fair game. That's all I'm saying. When I say in non-solicits, I'm saying in the bullshit, in the predatory practice of any account that comes into our company is our account just because it's ours. No, jackass. How about take a little extreme ownership and start leading people, start building relationships with your people, have a place that people actually want to be at and that they don't want to leave, have a compensation plan that people believe in and know that they're going to get paid correctly, and things that are not transparent and all this stuff, and create an environment that people want to stay. And also let it be okay that if they leave, someone on your management team or executive team or leadership team should have a good enough relationship with that account, since it's your account, with that account, regardless of who brought the customer on, to keep them. that customer shouldn't want to go anywhere. Or that customer would be like, listen, I'm going to give you some freight and you some freight, but because I like both people. Or just say, listen, we're with you, but we're really with the Steam brand, so we're sticking with Steam. At the end of the day, it should be in the customer's hands. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is we need a conversation. There needs to be a conversation happen about non-solicits as much, if not more, than there is about non-competes. Which is why, Ethan, the people's captain, Gunner Miller, this guy right here, has officially bought the domain in non-solicits.com. So Steam has in non-competes.com. I have in non-solicits.com, and I will be slowly putting together a campaign trail to get a petition together to see how many logistics companies are also down for joining us in our fight against ending non-solicits. That's my logistics rant for the day. I just had to get that out there.
No, you're good. I was enjoying listening to that.
We haven't ranted in a while.
Yeah.
And usually my rants are pro wrestling and nobody cares about it. But I have a weird feeling that when we clip that and that goes out on the old LinkedIn tonight or tomorrow morning,
yeah,
I bet some people are going to find out what this show's about.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, and that's the thing, So LinkedIn is becoming one of my favorite places to be, mainly because, I work, right? But also because that's where everyone is that I need to really be communicating with. Like, I don't care about likes on Instagram from a 13-year-old dude. I don't care about getting comments on Twitter from some troll account that's probably ran by an 8-year-old or a 50-year-old football coach who just got in trouble with his burner account. I don't care about Facebook and like my friends and family being like, yeah, you're doing great. I mean, that's awesome. I love the support. But also, I want to talk to people that are actually making decisions in our industry. And the only way to do that is through LinkedIn. And a lot of people are scared to voice their opinion because maybe they don't have a title high enough, or they're afraid that if they say something that maybe someone in their workplace doesn't agree with, that they're going to have to deal with HR or whatever. Or maybe they're afraid they might get blackballed in the industry, or they're afraid they might not get a paycheck. Listen, those are all real things. And maybe I've been in that situation in the past where I was like, I'm not in a position to where I should say anything. And maybe right now I'm not in a position to say what I'm saying. But I also don't think what I'm saying is too crazy. I mean, Ethan, you're not in logistics. You're not in that that part of the business world. You're more on the digital side of it. So just hearing what I said, is anything that I said not fair or reasonable?
No, and that's one of those things where like I am in a totally different domain of life and like
try to compare it.
Capitalism.
Try to compare it.
But it would be like if I were to work for if I'm working for Dumpster Fire Studios, right?
Sure, which you are.
And I am. But I start a podcast with a gentleman. Let's just name him Mr. Miller.
You did.
And I start a podcast with him. And it starts bringing in money for Dumpster Fire Studios because we do it here. And in a different world, you would have to pay for the rental time for the studio, and if it was totally different, I was working here, but I wanted you to come in to do this podcast. And we're paying for it.
This is all relevant. This is all true, by the way. This is behind the scenes. So keep going.
But all of this different stuff, and then I leave Dumpster Fire Studios, and I start, I'm just on my own, and I'm like, hey, Gunner, or Mr. Miller, if you want, I can still run your podcast. You just got to pay me whatever you would have paid for the rental price, and we'll set up a shack in the middle of the woods so you can still do your podcast. I feel like that would be kind of scummy. Like
to who?
To Dumpster Fire Studios, because you're their customer. You're paying them for the ability to do said podcast, and then I just jump ship and I take that money out from under them while I was working here, building the podcast, using the equipment and the resources here to do it. That'd be kind of scummy. However, if I were, say, a Mr. Weber that have my own podcast that I brought in and wanted to do here because it's so nice, and I've brought it in and it's making money for said company, Dumpster Fire Studios. And, at some point something happens, I can't pay for the studio time, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Paths go separate ways. I now want to do my podcast, but I'm no longer going to be doing it at Dumpster Fire Studios. He should still be able to do it because he brought it, because it's his IP. So again, it's different in my world than your world, because you're more of a business. I'm more of like content and IP, but it's very similar. It's just dependent on, again, what happened first.
Yeah.
The
Chicken or the
stack
egg.
the stack of events. If X happened first, then X person has the right to continue doing business. If Y happened first, then Y person or Y entity, whatever you want to say, has the ability to continue business in a certain manner. So it all just depends. And yeah, I mean, I get, like you said, I understand why companies have these things in place.
Yes.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Because way back when, companies got burned, and they were like, we should probably have a conversation about why we need these.
Well, I don't know exactly where. This would actually be a good thing for me to focus on. Like, when did a non-solicit become a thing? Why did it become? Because obviously, once upon a time, there was not a non-solicit.
Mm-hmm.
And then once upon a time, there was a non-solicit. And I guarantee you, there was a long stretch of time that there was conversations being had
in
as
the opposite direction as to
why
right now.
we need a non-solicit, right?
Yeah.
If I just had to guess, I'd say one of those examples is probably so-and-so person started working for a corporate company, was paid probably a salary to work at the company, and I guarantee that person was smart and was able to learn the insides and outs of that company, and maybe that company was overcharging their customers for a product or service, and that person was like, hey, you know what? Actually, these people like me better. I could probably take a large chunk of this company, create my own company, do the exact same thing, rebrand it, do it a little bit better, and charge less and make a lot of money. That's probably what happened. I don't know what it was. I don't know where it happened. We've got trademark laws, copyright laws, non-competes, non-solicits. We got all these laws in place to protect these larger corporations. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's all about how much money you have to pay lawyers to actually go to court and battle these things. And the big man's always going to win. A lot of these companies are just going to, attack you with a non-solicit or attack you with a non-compete and be like, listen, we'll take you to court over this, and do you really want to do that? Do you really want to do that? Or you just want to leave it alone? It's a scare tactic. It's a predatory scare tactic. Now, obviously, there's some cases, maybe a lot of cases, maybe a bunch of cases where it's relevant. It's very relevant. And I'm not insensitive to that, right? Like, I understand. I get it. All I'm saying is, if we're going to talk about black and whitely getting rid of a non-compete, we need to also have a gray conversation about ending non-solicits to what they are known as currently. It can't just be black and white. There needs to be a case-to-case, industry-to-industry, profession-to-profession, title to title. There needs to be some people sitting down coming up with an idea that is both beneficial to the customer, beneficial to the company, and beneficial to the employee. It should not be just beneficial to one person because they took a risk. It should not just all be in benefit to the company because someone put up capital and risked as an entrepreneur. That shouldn't be how it works. The risk should be hiring people, knowing those people are going to do things well, keeping those people on board, building a good environment, a good culture, making those people want to stay because of the leader that you are, and trusting those people not to leave. That should also be the risk. The risk should not just only be money. The risk should be the company. The risk should be the people. Now, obviously, you have a brand, and that's what they're selling, but I think we're away from the aspect of people that are just working with a company because of a company's name. In logistics, a lot of people are working with companies because of certain technologies and stuff. Yeah, I get that. But at the end of the day, people are working with people because of relationships. So when you take that relationship away from humans, I think that gets to a point we really need to talk about it. Not that I'm saying I'm leaving, going anywhere, doing all this stuff. And not that I'm saying that, non-competes are obsolete, and non-solicits, blah, blah, blah. Here's all I'm saying. You got one big company in town tooting their horn saying they're getting rid of non-competes, and everybody's, giving them a standing ovation, pat on the back, Business Insider, articles, freight waves. Everybody's jacked up. Non-competes, yeah, non-competes. I just don't think it matters that much. I just don't get it. Now, as far as the non-solicits, you bring that up, people start squirming. People go silent. People get a little antsy. That brings up a real debate. Nobody's over here. Not one person, Ethan, on LinkedIn is like, no, we should keep a non-compete. Not one person. Not one person on LinkedIn is like, we should keep the non-compete because the non-compete is best for the business. I haven't seen that yet. There has not been one argument over we need non-competes. So what is your play? You're being very vocal over something no one cares about? Or you're being vocal about something that you're in an echo chamber about? How about pick a side on something people get a little antsy about? How about pick a side on something that might be a little polarizing, something that might bring up debate, something that might inspire change? I'm getting political over here. So my thing is non-solicits. Not saying it's black and white, not saying yes or no. All I'm saying is there needs to be a conversation. There's a deeper conversation to be had in logistics when it relates to non-solicits. And I'm going to keep running my mouth until I have that conversation. And I've already said on LinkedIn that if somebody, now that they have to debate me on LinkedIn, it has to be live. It can be on your channel or mine, but it has to be live and on LinkedIn. It has to be announced as an event. People have to be able to watch it. It can't be edited. And people should be able to ask whatever question they want. We have to answer every question from the comments, besides trolls, but there's not really trolls on LinkedIn, so that's a good thing. Answer all the questions from the comments. Maybe we need somebody, a moderator, right? Maybe we need somebody asking the questions. Just long-form conversation, long-form debate, so we can actually get somewhere. And I've said that if somebody comes on there and they just school my ass and they just make me look like an idiot, won't be the first time, will it, Ethan? Won't be the first time I was wrong. I love being wrong. You know why I love being wrong? Because I learned something. I don't get stuck in my ways. I can be wrong. I can learn something. I can become a better man. I can then take that information and give it to someone else and mentor someone that might not know and make them look like not an idiot because I'm not going to call them out live on LinkedIn for thousands of people to see. So that's it. That's all I want. I want a conversation about non-solicits on LinkedIn live, and I will throw in the white towel. I will raise the white flag if somebody will come on there, hit me with some facts, and give me a solid reason as to why we have to have a non-solicit in place and why it has to be so drastically long and why non-competes matter so much when I truly think they don't really matter. So that's my thing. But I think you make a fair point about how like the IP is kind of similar to the whole customer aspect of it. So my thing would be, as me being a guy that comes in here, obviously I didn't sign anything. So I come in here, listen, these guys are great to me. So I've been around here since the 60-Minute Broadway. That's how I even got involved in this place. That was a favor to them. With that being said, I've been allowed to use this studio now for over 2 years. Ethan has given me his time, which is the most important currency on the planet, every Thursday or almost every Thursday for a few hours. And we've grown as real friends throughout this process. So that's been very crucial and beneficial to me as well. But I've always said, just as a good human and like a commonsensical approach to life and business and partnerships, if this thing blows up, if this brand became a thing, if this thing started profiting money, then let's look at it. Then let's sit down and figure out what needs to go into the brand, to the studio that has allowed this to happen. What should go to me? What should go to Ethan? Like, let's just sit down and have a conversation about it. But also, if this thing never created money, and I was like, you know what? I just don't have time to be at the studio. I don't have time to be here with Ethan. I'm just going to do this thing myself and take everything that we've done prior that's already on my stuff, which I guess in theory would be a split IP if you was to break it down and get really legal about it. But I started doing my own thing, kept my YouTube channel, and then it blew up. And then Dumpster Fire Studios got a little upset with me about it, I wouldn't care because I left. And maybe it's a back pay situation or something like that. I don't know. But it's a lot different in the digital space than it is when it comes to just a customer. Because I'm not a customer, really, because I'm not paying. Ethan's not a customer because he's an employee, but Ethan also worked for free for years. Chris owns this bitch, just walked in, and he's never really, like, said anything specifically about. So what we're talking about, you got time? What are you doing right now? Yeah, so what I've been ranting about is non-solicits. That's my hot button right now. So have you heard of a company in town called Steam Logistics?
Yes, I have. Here, E, let's see if this is...
So we're going to get Chris in here for a few minutes and get his.
There he is.
Because Chris is a business owner. Chris has been building a brand, entrepreneurial spirit, hustler, go-getter. Like I was saying, like we tried to do the comparison to
Try to move those legs, right, Chris?
Yes, it is.
Hey, that's that workout grind though.
Hey, E was in there with me yesterday,
saw a
not to
picture.
cut you off, and then I just got done doing my biomechanics
There it is.
workout today, so it's all the fascial tissue.
Ooh.
And I feel more opened up doing that, even though it's shitty and it feels like a workout, than I do stretching.
Have you checked into the TB12 program?
No, I have not. Old Tommy's.
Tommy's program. So it's all about stretching, taking care of the body,
Yep.
relieving things, elasticity, I
Yeah.
believe is what he says, which is all that whole John. Anyways, so business-wise,
Sure.
this is great for you. And I'd love to hear your perspective. And we've already went through a whole rant, so I'll try to do a elevator pitch. Company in town, Steam Logistics, they're tooting their horn about non-competes. And what they're saying is, we don't believe in non-competes. We will take legal action against people that do enforce a non-compete. If you have a non-compete, come work for us at Steam, and you're good, right? But behind the scenes, they have a very large non-solicit, which means, yes, you can come work there. Anybody can come work there. But as soon as you leave, whether you're fired or leave on your own, you can't touch one customer in that building, which are a large company, so all the customers, in logistics. So where do you go? Doesn't matter if you have a non-compete. You can't go anywhere and make a living.
Here's the thing about non-competes. Most of them won't hold up in court.
Exactly, they're pointless.
Absolutely pointless. So I would tell any employee, sue me.
Exactly.
I would tell Steam Logistics, hey, peace out. I'm not only going to try to take this
wait a minute.
This book of clients, but I'm coming for X, Y, and Z, because guess what? It's business, dude. Like, if someone wants to come poach people here or business here, they have every right. Or if Ethan wises up and says, I literally have taken Chris's brain from the last 5 years and I know how to do all of this myself now, good. Like, do it. Good on you if you got the cojones and the wherewithal to, like...
And the capital and the
yes,
risk.
like,
go do it.
Welcome to America, dude. That just sounds like some...
So,
stupid
Steam is tooting their horn. They're saying, listen, we don't worry about non-competes. If you have a non-compete, we will battle it. You can come here for free. You can work at Steam. Bring your non-compete and work at Steam because we don't believe in them. And they've started this campaign, and I got to talk to you about this. They've started this campaign. They got this really cool video in noncompetes.com where they've got a petition online with all these people, all these companies, the logistics guys signing it, being like, non-competes, let's get rid of non-competes don't matter. We've all been screwed by. I'm like, guys, non-compete. Joe Biden is talking about getting rid of non-competes. You think you guys are a little late to the party? Like, non-competes don't matter.
No, they don't.
But what does matter in the court of law, what does matter when it talks about holding back somebody from going to a company and being able to provide for their family is non-solicits. Because that's where you can really get in trouble because you're signing something you don't really know what you're signing. A lot of these kids coming out of college, going to logistics and the Steam, they sign the non-compete, or they used to or whatever, they sign the non-solicit. Right? The non-solicit means you can't touch any customer that's within our database or we're coming after you. So let's say you do go there for a little while, you get fired or you want to leave, you go to any company, who are you going to talk to? All the main customers are already with them. They're they got hundreds of employees, several offices. They're doing buku's amounts of money. They're balling. Their marketing's off the charts. They're winning. And they're also locking their employees down to where their employees can't go anywhere and win. Right? So I like to get on LinkedIn, like to stir up a little controversy. I want a pro wrestling LinkedIn. I get on there. Steve Cox, president of Steam Logistics. I'm like, hey, man, yeah, love the fact you're going after non-competes. That's really cool, even though I think it's kind of obsolete. Hey, what about non-solicits? Let's talk about that, because I've heard.
Did you ask him that?
Yes.
What did he say?
Well, I've got the number one comment on his number one post, which has now blown up our LinkedIn and mine personally, and my DMs. And
Good for
everything.
you.
Yeah, so I am the voice of the voiceless. I am the person.
Classic Gunner.
Yeah, you know how it works. I'm saying the thing that is real that nobody really wants to say because they're afraid to say it.
You're saying the quiet part loud.
And the reason why is because if you're just an employee somewhere, you can't say that because maybe you're not in a position to.
Every employee at Steam Logistics should go in there and say, remove my non-solicit or I'm walking. And then what are you going to do when you don't have employees?
Well, the funny thing is, I don't think Steam realizes how many people from their company are on my side.
Right.
Because now they're starting to realize, wait a minute, there is a non-solicit. Wait a minute, it's 18 months to 2 years long? So I got to be out of the industry for 2 years? What am I going to do? You can't just jump back in after 2 years and pick up where you left off. And you make a lot of money in logistics.
Dude, this is why the mafia exists.
Yeah.
Because of overreach.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If I don't take care of the people in this space that I'm trying to employ and grow and scale with, and I'm pigeonholing them and their efforts and what they're trying to achieve in their own personal lives and their own careers, I'm doing myself a disservice as a business owner.
Sure.
I should give every single person that walks into this room
Capitalism.
the freedom to say, here's an idea, here's relationships, here's my list, whatever the case may be, and give them the opportunity to level up in any and every aspect.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of this stuff is, and you know this in logistics, most of those employees' books are relationships. So now you're telling me that those individuals cannot take their relationships with them?
So this is what I said. Non-competes are black and white. You either can compete there, you can't compete there. But it's a pointless thing, so who cares?
Yeah.
Non-solicits are very gray. They're not black and white. Here's my thing. I think to a certain extent there should be a non-solicit to protect the company and the employees. The company employee gives a chance to work, right? The families are feeding. Here's why. Say you work at a company, and I went through this whole example. Say you work for a company, and there's already a customer there. That customer's been there for years. It's bread and butter. And then another employee comes in 2 years later, doesn't work with that customer. They bring in their own customer after being employed there. They build a relationship. Well, now that customer is the top customer, not this customer over here. And now whoever's company's like, ooh, that's our bread and butter now. Well, not really, because the bread and butter was you hired this employee. This employee's relationship brought this customer. They did everything involved. They've built this from the ground up. This customer would not be here if you didn't hire them. Right? So you took a risk. That employee worked out, probably one of the few, because it doesn't happen all the time. They landed a big customer. Now, for several reasons, they could leave. One reason being they don't work there anymore. They want to do their own thing, start their own thing, become an entrepreneur, have their own business, do it their own way. It's fair. Another way, maybe their family's in bad shape. Maybe their parents are old. Maybe their grandparents are old. Maybe they got to go take care of the family. Maybe somebody died. Maybe they got to move with their wife because they got a promotion. Maybe they just want to get out of this company. Maybe whatever the terms are, good, bad, indifferent. You're telling me that person can't leave and feed his family on a relationship he built with a customer that wasn't there prior to him arriving anyways, even if that customer wants to go with him?
Yeah, what are you going to tell the customer?
Yeah, they sue the person. That's what happens.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, if the customer says, hey, peace out, I'm going with Johnny over here.
Yeah, and they're like, no, you can't do that because he was our employee, and we're going to take legal action.
Right.
So then that's going to keep the customer from doing it.
But no, I'm saying if I was that customer and say, no, I work with Johnny.
Right.
Not you
sure.
guys. You guys have been great to me, and I'm really, really appreciative of it. But I'm here with Johnny.
No.
So where Johnny goes,
Absolutely.
I'm going to go, because I've worked with people like that before, to where now, granted, the things that I've done is a little bit different, but the relationships I have stood the test of time. And so when I go and do certain things, people say, hey, let me know, because I'll come and do X with you.
Right.
They're not doing X with the umbrella I'm working with. They're doing X with me.
With you, because
Right.
of your skill set, because of your relationships, and because of how you deal with people.
Right.
Okay. So you're telling me that can't happen in logistics. And that is the game. I mean, that is my game. That's the game, right? You build a relationship, other people do the work, and you reap the rewards, and you can take that with you forever because that's an investment. You invested all your time into that relationship. That's just like any other investment. That's a business inside the business, right? That's the game. That's the game you're trying to play. You're allowing people to do it. Now you can't let them take that business anywhere. But I don't agree that person say they go rogue. Say that person never brought a customer in, or that person never.
See, there's always variables.
There's an outlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that person didn't bring a customer in. That person is just an employee making minimum wage, punching the clock. That person gets upset because somebody criticizes them.
Yeah, or if they left the company on bad terms and now they're just being vindictive.
Yeah.
Again, there's always
and they
variables.
steal the database. They steal the customer list. They go after the customer and say, hey, I know the pricing. I know all this stuff. Come over here. I'll do it for cheaper. And I used to work there, so I'm pretty much the same thing.
They Michael Scott Paper Company.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's sketchy. That could take legal action. That shouldn't be a thing because now that's not just affecting the company. That's affecting all the people, the people the company employs also. So house accounts that were there prior to you, accounts you didn't bring on, I think there should be a non-solicit in place morally just because it's the right thing to do. And you shouldn't steal from somebody.
Sure.
Right? But if it is your customer that you brought on, your relationship, and that customer wants to work with you, that should not be a problem. That's when all I'm saying is I want a conversation to be had in logistics about non-solicits. And let's quit talking about this stupid-ass non-compete that nobody cares about. The real predatory practice is non-solicits. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. That's why everybody's in my DMs. That's why everybody's hitting me up silently. That's why everybody on the polls pretty much agreeing with me. That's why people at your own company are saying so. That's why everybody that's left is saying so. And that's why you won't respond. And if you think I'm talking about you, I am. So hit me up. We'll go live on LinkedIn. We'll have a panel. We'll have some questions. We'll have a moderator. And we'll settle this. And I've said, I'll take the white flag. I'll throw in the white towel. If you kick my ass on LinkedIn, I'll admit defeat. I'll say, you know what? I learned something today. And I appreciate you teaching me something. I'm going to take this for the rest of my life. I'm going to show other people why this is why we need it. But most likely, you're going to sit there and you're just going to be talking about you and protecting yourself and not taking extreme ownership into your leadership abilities, into your management style of being in tune with every customer that comes onto your brand. And having a relationship with every customer underneath your umbrella. Because if you have a relationship as a leader, an executive, a president, a management team with every customer in that company, they're not going to go anywhere because you have the relationship. But if you don't have the relationship and an employee does and they take it and they want to take that customer with them and that customer wants to go, you should have zero legal action to take except your own. Extreme ownership, take it as a loss. That's also a risk as being an entrepreneur and a business owner. Am I right?
You're right. One thing that I'm learning in our industry and what I'm trying to do is through processes, systems, integrations, and automations is how can I build an 8-figure business with the same amount of people that are currently here?
Yeah.
Think about what I just said.
Yeah. High margins, high revenue.
Build something to where I don't have turnover and I'm actually not hiring anybody else. I'm outsourcing what's necessary. I'm insourcing all of these different systems, and this is what's happening across the world. I think apps are literally replacing 30 million jobs a year. Apps. And so this is the world that I'm starting to see is people want ease of access, ease of use, speed, information. Yeah. They want it now. They want to make sure that they can literally click buttons and do X, Y, and Z, and their things get done. Yep. And so outside of the actual manual, that camera, and like I walked in, I know how to turn it on. I know exactly what I was looking for on that screen. Yeah. Outside of the human element that involves this, everything else, it's moving away. And so that's because I've even talked to Ethan about it. What is production going to look like in 5 years? It's going to change.
Like actually manufacturing and like production.
No. I'm talking about video.
Oh, you're talking about your
commercial production. Yeah. Videography. What's about to happen with entertainment in that aspect to where you're going to see a lot of these visual storytellers, my least favorite types of people. Anybody that calls themselves an artist.
Or cinematographer.
Yeah, you can go fuck yourself. Most of those people are losers if you identify as an artist. Get out of here.
Sure.
Real artists don't call themselves artists. They're just doing shit.
Right.
And most of the time, people know who they are, and they don't give a shit.
Right.
My favorite types of people. So what's going to happen to this world? I don't know, but I'm looking for where it's moving. Because I want to be in the cusp or not. That's the thing. I may not want to.
Well, to that point, I think one of the largest growing industries is going to be e-coaching, e-learning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to replace college. Because,
100%.
like, say logistics, you don't need a college degree to get into logistics. In my job application that I put out on LinkedIn, I was like, if you can breathe, you can pretty much apply for this job. I don't care if you graduated elementary school.
Yeah, are you a quick learner? Are you a good learner? Do you understand how to?
Yeah. Are you coachable?
Yes.
Do you know how email works? Have you used Outlook? Can you communicate? Can you pick up the phone? Can you dial it? Can you take hearing no a billion times? And can you be coachable enough to say what I want you to say and learn how our operation works? You don't have to go to school.
No.
I don't care if you don't know what happened to Rome. I don't care about any of that. I don't care if you don't know what a chromosome is.
No.
I need you to know what a shipment is, okay? Freight. So
Isn't that fascinating that the education system, I remember I was one of the first, I say one of the first people, at least in my age group, because I dropped out of college, and I remember my aunts, my uncles, my young life leaders, the people that I trusted the most. Oh my God, Chris, you're ruining your life.
right.
What are you going to do without a bachelor's degree?
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
And then, years later, those same people said, yeah, we were wrong. And now I tell people all the time, why are you putting a college fund away for your kid? Put it in a vehicle. Now, it's one thing if it's a vehicle that's compounding interest and earning money year over year that you have access to use however you deem fit.
Sure.
That's great. But if it's strictly just a college fund,
Yeah.
you are a dum-dum because it's not going to exist, at least not in the same manner that it does.
Nope.
People aren't even thinking about what I'm talking about when it comes to automation and technology. Doctors, outside of knowing what to look for, surgeons, they're going to be obsolete. Lawyers.
Yep.
Hell, half the shit you can get online now. You don't actually have to pay a lawyer anymore. You can just go online.
Yep.
So all of these trades and private sector type skills that people needed, those are going away.
They're trying to protect them with school. They're trying to keep jobs up with school, like saying, you got to have a doctor. You got to have all this stuff. But you don't.
No.
Like, why?
No.
Why do you need to, you don't need people to do obsolete tasks anymore.
I think, I want to say it was Ray Dalio as well, but
His new stuff on the New World Order is ridiculous anyways.
But he even said, this was a few years ago, and it stuck with me. He said, the problem isn't inflation and the economy, all the shit that all you dumb fucks out there that are left and right and all this shit are worried about because you're losers and you really don't know who you are, what you want, or what this is all about.
I'm glad you came on.
Okay. He said the issue isn't that. It's what are we going to do with all these unemployed people? It's the same thing that happened when the individuals in the early 1900s moved from the urban areas and moved into the city centers, and now they said, what are we going to do with all these people?
Yep.
So now we have to find jobs for them. What are you going to do with all those kids? Why do you see videos of kids working in steel mills at 6 years old? Because there wasn't an education system. And guess what the education system is? Fucking daycare. Yeah. So now what are you going to do in the world?
Obedient training.
With no one, with what are you going to do with half of America that doesn't have a job? Now you're looking at some real problems.
Yeah.
And this is why you see certain ideologies leaning towards universal wages, which I'm not against, by the way. Hear what I just said. I'm not against it.
I think
because there's a place for it for certain types of people.
Correct.
If you can couple those two things with free market capitalism, if you want to go and be the best and do your thing and build and persevere, you have every right to. We're still going to give you $4,000 a month. Fuck yeah, I'll take that.
Sure.
The government's going to give me $4,000 a month. Like Bradley talks about this shit.
Love
No,
Bradley.
I'd rather earn it, man. I'd rather earn it. Yeah, there's something to be said about the discipline and the work ethic and that moment of delayed gratification, kind of like what's happening here. The world doesn't blow up and go to shit. I genuinely believe in 18 months, every single fucking person in America will have heard of Dumpster Fire Studios. That's going to be a great moment for me because of the effort that it took. But if someone wants to walk in and hand me $10 million right now, I'm going to fucking take it.
Sure. If they walk in and give you $1,000, I bet you take it.
Yeah, and so like I didn't earn it.
Yeah.
I'll just take it. Yeah, cool. You want to give me money, I'm going to take it.
Right.
And so there is a difference, and there's always going to be losers in the world. Hell, even Jesus said you're always going to have the poor. Whether it was real or not, I don't give a shit. You're always going to have the poor.
Sure.
You're always going to have people who do more, and you're always going to have people who do less. So there's got to be a middle ground of giving both parties
Something.
an availability, access, resource, so that there's just not total chaos.
Sure.
Because if you leave, it's like kids like me that grew up poor, that didn't have the things that other kids had. Guess what we got into? Trouble.
Yep.
Why? That's all we knew. So this is what we have access to.
Product of your environment.
Exactly. And so that's what we're seeing in the world right now. Look at fucking New York and L.A. and all these trash cities that literally have the strictest and most lenient laws in the world, and people are just taking advantage of it. You can get paid in California now to not be a criminal. How stupid is that? Hey, we're going to pay you money to not commit heinous crimes.
And you can commit certain crimes and get away with it.
This is the world we live in. And Ethan, I know I sent it to Sting. I saw it earlier, and I know I just went on a tangent now, but I'm pissed. I'm mad at the world right now, and I'm mad at what people are allowing. There is a summer camp taking place this year for middle school-aged children in Kentucky that's being put on by 4 fat fucking bitches, okay? That is going to be they're all like gender queer, whatever the hell that means. They're all fat. They're trying to normalize fat, by the way. P.S. For all you people out there who are trying to normalize fat, 2,200 kids in the United States this year. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but hear what I'm about to say. 2,200 children in this country are going to die of starvation this year.
And you're overeating.
And you're over here trying to normalize that you're a fat loser. Not only that, but these fat bitches, I hope they find this. I hope they hear this. I'm getting to a place now where I'm about to get very loud in life.
Let's go. I love being loud.
I'm about to get very loud about the things I find important. They're going to be teaching middle school kids sexual orientation. Okay, that's fine. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. If a kid came to me and said, Chris, I don't really understand what I'm thinking or feeling or going through, that's a great moment to help someone process their life.
Sure.
That's the only thing I can look at and say, okay, cool. Does a camp need to be built around that? No. But then they're going to talk about self-masturbation. They're going to talk about BDSM. They're going to talk about sex on illicit and illicit drugs. They're going to talk about, what was the other one? It was the most messed up one. It had something to do with, like, not your orientation, but, like, pretty much be and identify and do whatever you want with whoever you want with whatever age you want.
Oh, so I know what you're talking about.
Right. So it's pretty much like what
pedophile. They're almost like
normalizing,
not condoning it.
Yes,
yeah.
normalizing and I see
as
things,
a disease, not necessarily something you choose to do.
And it's just like, what the fuck's wrong with the world? And you should read these women's bios. I'm going to send it to you later. They actually, so like, you know how you have a LinkedIn bio?
Yeah.
They have a professional bio on being a fat piece of shit pervert. And it sounds like they're like super gung ho about it.
Probably more followers than us.
Right. I don't know. But it's shit like that I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it, and it's like, you know what? Those are the types of people that don't deserve a living wage. They should just go work at McDonald's and be miserable. Because, I mean, that's a corporation that also, P.S., if you work at McDonald's and you think it's a good corporation, you're an idiot.
So I've got Christopher Rufo's tweet about it. The lessons include, but are not limited to, sex liberation, gender exploration, BDSM, being a sex worker, self-managed abortions, and sexual activity while using illicit and licit drugs.
Sounds about right.
Good Lord.
I'm just over here trying to get non-solicit taken down. All right, guys? That's all I'm trying to do. All right?
Yeah.
Everybody's over here yelling at me.
Trying to clear
I'm just trying to let people work
logistics
where they want to work with, what companies they want to work with. I don't give a shit what you do in your spare time.
Oh, man.
Damn, Chris, you're really taking us down this rabbit hole.
Hey, here's the thing. I don't care about a lot. Like, I'm with you. You want to go work somewhere? Ethan, if you told me tomorrow, hey, dude, go fuck yourself, Chris, I'm going to manage a Shoney's, I'd be like, all right, good. Like, go for it. You know? I don't care. But
I knew you'd respect the Shoney's.
Exactly.
So.
But when you start, I'm about to be a father. Now, a lot of this stuff hasn't clicked yet, but it is.
It changes a little bit.
And so I'm sitting here thinking, if someone came up to me and was like, Chris, I've got a great opportunity for your kid. There's a camp in Kentucky that I think they should go to this summer, and we're going to teach them what you just read, Ethan. I'd literally tell that person, go fuck themselves.
Well, I told Tia, I was like, if they start bringing this into
public school, yeah,
I really hope we take him out.
Well, me and Jessica are already talking about, are we just going to homeschool?
So I think that you need to go to school because I don't have the time to teach you math, and I don't have the patience to teach you how English.
Do you need math?
A little bit.
No, you do. You need to
count money.
Sure.
I mean, there's basic formulas I use without
1, 2,
thinking
3,
I
4.
use.
Yeah.
Very, very simple algebra. Very simple.
You can do that in the pockets of your
Just
time.
what is X,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's pretty much what my algebra. But I mean, there's Excel, there's calculators, there's your phone. Why do you have to think? You should just type it in your calculator. Like the fact that people take tests and have to memorize formulas. Why? When, Ethan, have you sat at the bank and been like, ooh, I was really hoping I was going to deposit this check, but I just can't figure out how much this is. Let me go on my phone real quick and just let people use calculators in their phones to figure out stuff at school. And if you can't figure out a test like who killed who back in whenever on your phone, you deserve to fail. But if you can figure it out on your phone, you deserve to pass.
Think about that, though. Think about the education system. I think about this stuff all the time. I look back at teachers. Me and a buddy of mine were talking about this the other day. So I remember, you know how we praise teachers? By the way, if you're a teacher out there, I would say go you. You chose your fucking profession. So don't complain about your pay. Don't complain about your hours. Don't complain about what you're not getting because you're a hero or a nurse. If you do something in the world that you chose to do, fucking deal with it, quit, move on. You're not a hero. Teachers don't deserve $1 million a year.
And there's some good ones out there.
Of course, there's good things.
But they're the ones that like what they do.
Sure, and there's good people in every profession.
Yep.
But here's what I've learned about teachers. Even my friends that are teachers, they're just babysitters.
That's what I compare.
And they're teaching Common Core, so the government and everything, all this information's being passed down from McGraw-Hill. And it's like, what are you actually teaching kids? I have not taken any aspect of biology and applied it into my fucking life.
Actually, everything we learned in biology is being tested right now in politics.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything we learned and paid for, we're being told we're idiots if we believe.
It's not real. So the science has changed. And so I look at education and things like that. It's like I know for a fact that if I had to teach my kid from 0 to graduation, my kid would be more intelligent, socially more well-suited, and put in a position probably by the time they're 14 to be better leaders, owners, doers, givers, you name it, across the board than any aspect of the education system that is public.
I took more away from the lessons I learned in sports than I did anything in school. You can say I did sports at school. Sure. Separate the two. I learned everything I know in business because of sports and doing business.
How many things
school.
did you take away that you still have in your pocket? Because I know I do from your coaches that were good coaches.
I'd need more pockets.
Exactly. Like there's still things that I do or say or happen in my life, and I'm like, holy shit, Jerry Jones.
And guess what? There's a bunch of things I take that I don't use because bad coaches.
Oh,
And I didn't realize that till I hit a certain level in my career where I was like, oh, I was taught that for so long when really this is the right way to do it. But you don't know unless you fail. Like you got to learn from good people and bad people to figure, and you got to be able to be open-minded enough and smart enough to decipher through the bullshit and be like, that's what works for me. And that's what you take.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know.
So I don't know what's wrong with the world other than that it's kind of comical at this point. Like literally comical. Up is down, left is right. Good is bad.
Everyone's waiting on help, and nobody wants to act.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm at a place now. Someone asked me the other day, they said, Chris, aren't you afraid that if people see the things you post or how you talk, they're not going to do business with you? No. There's 7.8 billion people in the world. You don't want to fucking do business with me? Don't do business with me. Guess what I'm also learning? Automations, processes, integrations, systems. I don't necessarily need face-to-face people. These people are looking for solutions to their problems. I am trying to position and create those solutions at lightning speed with fulfillment and deliverables that are better, quality, timing, all of it across the board. So it's like, yeah, you may not like that I say fuck or that I think that your kid sex bullshit fat camp is stupid and honestly evil. Go fuck yourself. You don't like it? Don't work with me. Don't come to my studio. Go jerk off in your Sunday school Bible study.
Or or agree to disagree and
Yeah.
just work together.
How
about that?
I
What
do that
happened
all
to
the
that?
time.
What happened to that?
Yeah. Oh, I don't.
We
like,
don't agree on everything,
No.
but we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And we agree a lot more than we
I think
disagree,
that
but-
we like each other for the fact that we both know that we would kill each other if we both had to.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people be like,
I'd stab you in the throat
I
and
would
say sorry,
shoot
bud.
you in the face.
Yeah,
And
I-
let
hey,
you know it's coming.
I really liked you,
Yeah.
and this was good, but sorry.
But, dude, is there anyone on this planet you wouldn't do that to? Honestly.
What do you mean?
Is there anybody you wouldn't kill?
Yes. There's probably 2 or 3 people I just would not kill.
So it's a handful.
It's a very small select group of
7.8
people.
billion people on this
And
planet.
there's
And you're
no-
telling me you'd murder 7.8 of them minus a handful.
Yeah.
Me too.
My brother and sister in that room, and if the circumstances are right, I'd kill them.
If the wind blows
I,
the wrong
I hope
way.
they hear it.
Yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
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 So-
Yeah, jerks.
So a lot of that is said in fun. Don't get your panties
None of
in a
this is
wad.
premeditated murder, by the way.
Yes,
Apple, Android.
If-
this is all semantics.
If somehow I get into a car crash
Sure,
and someone dies,
sure.
I didn't do it on purpose. Jesus Christ. I care about my life a lot more than yours, so trust me, I'm not trying to get into a wreck. So, I don't know, man.
Jeez.
But I'm glad you came on because you're a business owner. You're dealing with shit like this. It's good to hear that. And I can't get anyone of significance to play this game with me on LinkedIn.
People are scared, man. They're scared.
Yep. So,
You know what? You and I am. You should be proud of this too. I hope, because I do think the world's going to change drastically between now and 2030, for better or for worse. I don't know. I don't think anybody really does.
Sure.
I hope that it's for the better.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm most excited about is that I do live in this time, in this era,
Mm-hmm.
that in 7 years I'll be 40. Okay,
Yeah.
pretty
Crazy.
wild to think about.
Yep.
I want to be able to look back and be able to share stories of like I built a business in one of the most volatile times of fucking humanity, or at least modern era.
Sure.
I raised a family in one of the most bullshit eras of trying to destroy the family
Sure.
in general.
Yep.
I lived through potentially we've got, war, famine, disease, wow, fucking you name it. I don't doubt that we're going to go through something else
Yeah.
in the next 2 years.
COVID-23.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting here thinking, to wake up and come out of that and not just be, in my own mind, in my own standards
Mm-hmm.
of success, but also to know my hope is that I can look back and know that I wasn't fucking duped and I did everything I could to keep people on their fucking toes,
Yep.
knowing that, hey, I wasn't you. I
Right.
didn't fall for any of
Right.
this shit, and I carved my own path. Even if I carved it straight into a fucking ditch, at least I built that path to that ditch. All you did was jerk off in your Sunday school.
People, this is what, and I get it, it's scary because you're afraid what people say. Take a stance. Pick something, be passionate about it, and share it. That's how change happens in the world. Maybe it's not the bright idea, but I promise you, not every great idea started out as the favorite. No, the person that was like, you know what? We're going to start traveling in the air by plane. They're like, you're fucking crazy, bro. Ain't nobody in no plane. Now half the world travels primarily through
You know what's
air.
crazy about that story is when you tell me this, I'm sitting here thinking, man, that's how fucking indoctrinated we are. Because if you go back into pre-McGraw-Hill education system and you go look into the fucking Tartarians and you go look into blimps and you go look into how the electromagnetic universe works, we've been flying shit for the longest time. It's just been erased and literally hidden from our eyes. And it's fascinating to me that that's how shitty and deep this fucking goes. Me and you were in school in an era and a time before this, and people could really start to say, wait a second, maybe that's not fucking truth.
Mm-hmm.
And yet to hear that, it's not your fault. I'm not mad. I'm just sitting here thinking, holy shit, this is how
Yeah.
deep and good they have done
Yeah.
at truly forming fucking people into whatever this mass
Yeah.
thought process is.
Yep.
Fascinating to me.
It is.
Like people cannot convince me otherwise at this point of how I think or how I approach looking for the truth. There's no going back for me. It doesn't mean I'm set in my ways. It doesn't mean that I
Sure.
have answers. It means that there's some things you just can't convince me otherwise anymore.
All right, so I was driving back from Columbus. It was late. We'd been up over 24 hours. I was about delirious.
Georgia or Ohio?
Ohio. This a couple weeks ago. We went to UFC, see one of our customers.
Gotcha,
we were driving
gotcha.
back. I was with my buddy Jordan. He's the one that's big, got the religious podcast, big into
Yeah,
religion.
yeah.
He's doing a lot of research right now. Anyways, I asked him a question. We're always opposite sides of the spectrum, and I think you'll like this. Do you remember your first memory? Not the stories that you were told that you've created that became a memory. Do you remember the first time you saw yourself?
No. I have some very faint memories of my childhood, like very, very young, like 2, 3 almost, around that age, maybe 2.5, closer to 3.
Yep.
I remember some things, but no, I don't remember the first time I don't remember seeing myself, like in a mirror.
Yeah, like when did you meet you? That's my new favorite question. When did you meet you?
Probably 5 or 6. And what I mean by that is, and this may sound crazy, I knew at 5 or 6 years old I was special. I remember very clearly at that age, I knew something about my existence.
So not trying to go into a reincarnation type thing, but is it too crazy to think, if we believe in a God and one God, and that's the God, and he created all this, and he's outside of time and space and universe and all this stuff, if half the planet believes in that, and the other half believe in multi-gods, and the other quarter don't believe anything, is it too far-fetched to believe that, maybe not reincarnation, but that the consciousness, like you, not your body, the vehicle, the bones, you, not the brain, you, like the person talking in your head, if you
Yes.
shut up,
Yes.
you, that person talking to you, that you has always been here.
Yes.
That you has been around forever. And so, you know, your girl and the baby you're about to have, and Tia and Marcus, was we already together? How did Tia get from Samoa to Chattanooga and me just know upon seeing her on Bumble that I found her again? Like, that's just
there
us.
she is.
Like, so
Yep.
then you talk like soulmate. That makes sense. Now we're getting somewhere.
Sure.
But like, just you, like, so everyone
You need-
says
you need
history repeats itself.
Yeah.
What if
We repeat ourselves.
we have just continued not to evolve, just to relive, and as we've relived over thousands of years, society has technologically advanced to where we're at now, where we've lost things in the past. You look at the Library of Alexandria, we lost like everything from the Egyptians, who might have been one of the best parts of our entire existence.
Sure.
And what I think is we hit a certain amount of people on the planet, and the planet gets rid of us. And then we restart, but those people are already here. They just find different vehicles.
I don't entirely disagree with this.
It's crazy. I thought of it on no sleep for 2 days, driving back from Columbus in the dark. But when I told a guy that's extremely religious and asked him, when did you meet yourself? And then I pitched that, he goes, I don't really know what to say right now. And I was like, I might have something.
Well, you need to go look up Dolores Cannon.
Dolores Cannon.
Because everything that you just talked about, she talks about. Everything you just talked about, Alan Watts talks about. And so I don't know where I stand on reincarnation or past lives. It's not that I'm for them or against them. There's not a negative or a positive connotation to either. Because there is a piece of me that doesn't compute that me was in another form, in another body, in another aspect of this existence, you know, because I relate to me with this because it's all I know.
And it's your brain.
Right. But there is, Dolores Cannon talks about how Earth is in all the existence and all the galaxies and all the dimensions and all the planes of living, that Earth is the hardest school, and we choose to come here by our own volition because it's the hardest school. And if we can escape what this is called samsara, reincarnation wheel, the whole goal is to come into Earth to learn all of its lessons. And she says, and this is where I think things are this is where I don't align. She says there is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, when you fuck a kid and that's wrong.
Sure.
Yeah, when you rape somebody, that's probably wrong.
Sure.
Genocide and its core is wrong. You know,
Yeah.
hate is wrong. Like we can go down a list of what we deem is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cut and dry usually. And so I don't necessarily agree with that. And maybe I was missing the mark on what she was saying, but she has made it very clear that we come here through these lessons, and if we were the rich man in the castle in one life, then we're the beggar on the street in another. And this whole thing is to teach us and teach us. And this is where I get lost to an extent, is that you are me and I am you.
Mm.
And that's something that I can't necessarily wrap my brain around, nor do I necessarily agree with, because it almost takes away from the existence in general.
I get that, and I agree with you 100%. And I don't even like to use the word reincarnation because I'm not very schooled on it. I don't know. I haven't educated. I'm literally, and like, I've listened to Alan Watts and never like paid attention to this part, and this other person I've never even heard of. And that Samsara you just said?
Yep.
Never heard of it.
Gotcha.
This is literally just a southern white boy.
If this is what you thought of driving,
yes.
good for you.
Yeah.
Because you're tracking something that I think is valuable.
Yeah, so I thought this driving, you asked, Jordan literally watched me work this process out in my head. It wasn't as clear as I just said it, but like I worked it out and I was like, oh shit, like, what if? Because you know as well as I know, there's some people that you can know kind of what they're thinking, what they're doing, and they're going to text me in a couple seconds. You have a feeling. Sure. You just know, like, oh, I better not do this. I'm about to get a text from somebody that probably knows what I'm about to be doing. And it's usually the person that is what you would consider your soulmate. Right? Does that make sense? So it's like you've done this so many times that you're going to find each other again, but then it's you. It doesn't matter what vehicle it's in. It's just like you are just in a body. Where does you go? I know the body dies. I know the brain dies. I think the brain is just a computer that you get plugged into. So when you say, I know me as this in the mirror, and I don't think that I lived a different life, you in this vehicle and your brain that is, like, if it's the motherboard or the control panel or whatever, of course it didn't. But you, possibly, the presence could have been here the entire time.
Yep.
And it could have just been erased when we hit a certain amount of population. Because I think that's the problem. I think we get to a certain point and the earth goes, reset. And it takes enough people out to be able to sustain itself. And then we do the same shit over again. Because everybody's addicted to sex. More people, shut that bad boy down again. But I think there's a limit to the people that can be on the planet. And we've already done it time and time again.
Time again, yeah.
And it's the same people being put in different vehicles with the memory erased. That's what I think.
I don't doubt it. And if that is what all this is, then I want to know what's the purpose.
Yeah. So at that point, it gets to like, why? Or is it just Earth one big ass fungi? Like,
and yeah, we're a virus.
We're just one. Like,
but I don't agree with that. I don't think we are. I think there is. And again, you'll like Dolores Cannon. I think she's this old white woman who is very Mother Goose-esque, and so she's there's a nurturing in hearing her talk that's like, okay, I can listen to this. It's not, there's not like an ego to it. Sure. It's very much just like you're listening to someone tell incredible stories. So it's easily digestible.
Yep.
But some of the things that she hits on, and for me, when I'm reading and studying, like right now I'm diving into like the 6th and 7th book of Moses that like the canon took out because come to find out Moses was just a fucking witch. He was no different than anybody else in any other time. He was a fucking wizard. And so like half the shit that he was doing, people think that it was just God. And it's like, nah, man, if you go back into water and electricity and the fact that we're made up of all this shit and the earth and the sky and how everything, like literally earth is perfectly formed. We're not some fucking ball spinning through nothingness. Like it is here, stationary, non-moving, and everything fucking serves a purpose. And all these people, past, present, and future, know it. It's just hidden from the mass public in this era, in this time. Nothing's new under the sun. What goes up must come down. Black hole fucking sun. And if people went and studied this shit, they'd realize, holy fuck. So the Dolores Cannon is speaking on the same shit that Jesus was talking about during this time, that Moses was fucking practicing during that time, that the 25 other cultures with the virgin birth and the Messiah son, and it's just like, man, you can't make this shit up. So, yeah, history might repeat itself, and so may we. I don't know.
I don't know. It's fascinating. I mean, we're never going to know, so who cares? Why waste time on it? But it's a great
I think
story.
we will know when we're dead, and then before we reset, there's probably some real cool non-time dictated that doesn't make sense.
Right. No,
There's
no.
probably some non-timed moments of us after this that are probably fucking incredible. That we do get to see how stupid we were and what we missed and what we should have done better. And it's probably not filled with negative. It's probably very much teaching and insightful of like, fuck. So I really did a good job with that. Holy crap, I totally just overlooked this whole part of life. And that's where maybe we do say I want to come back. Because we see something and we realize if this is a school, we see something like, oh my God, I didn't do that. I didn't learn that. I can go do that now. I can learn that now. Well, if you're going to, this is the circumstances in which you're going to have to learn it through. Fuck. Now you get put in circumstantial situation. Like, I didn't ask to be white in America, born in the South, or did I? I think about that all the time.
Did you pick the vehicle you were
Yes.
going to?
Did I pick this?
Knowing that your memory was going to be erased, but you would figure it out.
Yeah, because I listened to, it goes back to,
It's like Marvel.
yeah. I listened to some podcasts when I found out I was going to have a kid and a son. I started listening to all these things that I find super, important to me.
Yeah.
And in one of these podcasts, they talk about how we pick our parents. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, I really fucked that up. And then I thought, well, wait a second. Maybe I didn't because of all, I looked at the good, the bad, the pros, the cons, everything in between. And then I'm sitting here thinking, oh, my God, like, if that's true, then my kid picked me. Why? What in the world? Why? And it has flipped a switch in me in an incredibly positive way of if my son did pick me and Jessica, there's got to be something special about that. So what is it that's in me that's going to position him to be 1,000 times better than I'd ever be, to maybe really impact the world, to maybe really do something good, and really bring a lot of whatever the good things that are in life, love, light, whatever all this new age bullshit is. Like, at the end of the day, we know the feelings. Yeah. We know the moments. So I don't know what that is, but now all these things keep running through my head. I cry about this kid every day. I don't tell people that.
Oh, I got one good for you.
I cry every day. I cannot wait to meet my son. I'm fucking thrilled. And in that, I'm thinking of all the ways. I think it kind of goes back to sports. Did your coach ever tell you guys are playing not to lose? Yeah. You're not playing to win. You're playing not to lose.
My dad all the time.
Yeah, and I think people go through life thinking that way of, I don't want to fuck this up, rather than how can I make this the best possible?
Sure.
And so that's where my mind has been, knowing about I'm going to be able to raise this kid.
Yeah.
There's obviously moments of I don't want to fuck X, Y, and Z up.
Right.
But there's also like, how can I position and set this human up to literally be like the best fucking human in the world?
Yeah.
And I think I can do a lot of good in that.
You can too.
So, yeah.
So if you look at Marcus, think about this.
Yeah.
So Tia, born, raised, American Samoa, 6,000 miles away from me. Just for some reason decides to leave one day, join the Marine Corps, and somehow or another she finds herself at TVA and meets me, right? All those things just happen to happen.
Yeah, just
and,
so happen.
There's hundreds of thousands of stories similar to that probably across the world where people have great relationships like that. Now, I'm not saying I can't have kids. I'm not saying that. I haven't been checked by no doctors. But I'm not saying I don't try not to have. Like, I'm not trying to have kids. I'm also not trying to not
have kids.
I'm just
totally get it.
Playing. I think people can read through the lines, right?
I was there, and now I'm having a kid.
Okay, so we're reading through the lines, right? How crazy is it that I can love another kid, and he can love me just as much, if not more? Well, certain people see this, but like, if not more than the person that got him here.
Yeah.
Like, you have to tell me that somehow or another that not just his physical being, but his conscious, him, his you, we're attached. And we were. Nobody can tell me that me, Tia, and Marcus were not attached prior to me meeting them. Nobody can tell me that. And it was meeting them and being through this now for a few years and knowing, like, when that dude leaves for – I might start crying now. When that dude leaves for spring break and I'm away for him for 5 days, I find myself 230 pounds, a former Division I athlete who does pro wrestling and a VP of sales at a company who comes off as a badass, laying on the couch – bawling his eyes out because I see a picture come across of her FaceTiming with him, and I know I still got to wait 3 days to see him.
That's special, man.
You can't tell me that connection, a connection between humans, goes deeper than skin.
Yeah.
And a brain. It's the one thing that no one can figure out what it is because you can't measure it, you can't CAT scan it, you can't MRI it, you can't brain scan it, you can't do shit. Ain't nobody figured out what the fuck a conscious is yet. Has anybody figured out what you is yet, Ethan? Okay. Nobody has figured out the one thing, the one voice that talks to every single person on this planet every single day. No one can figure out where it comes from. So the people that say God, I get you. I understand that you might think that some white-haired old man up in space is talking to you. But that's not who it is. Let's be real. It is you. But you have looked many different ways. I think you have lived many different lives. And I think the people that are your soulmates have been with you the entire time. And you have found them, and you will continue to find them. And this planet's going to be here a lot longer than we are. And then one day, the sun's going to go away, and the lights are going to go out. And I don't know what's going to happen then. Probably on Mars. But who knows?
Yeah, Elon will take us there.
You think Elon's only had one life to figure all this shit out?
Hell no.
Y'all get
that dude's
out
a
of here.
robot.
Get out of here.
You know what's funny about that is I remember, so I knew Jessica in college.
Mm-hmm.
We hung out for about 3 months, and then I moved to Texas. Didn't talk to her for like 7 or 8 years.
Sure.
And then like randomly ran into her here or there in passing, mutual friends, you name it. And then ran into her mowing lawns during peak COVID.
Yeah.
Long story short, I asked this girl out every week for 6 months straight. And every week it was no. Until finally she needed help hanging her fucking curtains. Moved into a new place, you name it. I will remember this day for the rest of my life. I remember literally showing up to her apartment, opening the door. I remember what she was wearing. I remember what she was doing. I remember how she looked. And I remember something came over me, and I knew in that moment, I was like, well, fuck, that's it. She's it.
It's weird.
I'm in trouble. And it was just, that was it. It was over. Like it wasn't even a decision. It was almost like I didn't have a choice. And it wasn't a negative thing. It was, obviously. It was just like, okay, fuck, here we go.
Yeah, there you are.
Yep.
Figured it out again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do it again.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I'm a firm believer in that. I don't know what that's called. I'm not sticking to the word reincarnation. I'm not putting myself in any box. I'm just saying, at this point in my life, 31 years old, I think that our conscious, what you is more important than anything else on this planet. And that you will be here forever. I don't know. Until this planet goes away,
Yep.
You are going to remain. Whether you find a vehicle or not, I'm not sure. Whether I believe in ghosts or not, I'm not sure. Whether I believe in all this stuff, I'm not sure. I don't know. I just think that
That's surreal, bro.
listen, I'm sure there's some things. Like, I've been sketched out at times. So I just also know that the brain creates DMT, and it's liable to fuck with you at any given moment.
Yep.
So it just depends on when the blood chemicals are messing up. I know that, like, do you feel 30? What are you, 32?
32, almost 33.
Okay, so 32.
I don't feel 32.
Right? Like,
I feel 24.
so
Ish.
I think time's relevant also. Like,
Yeah.
time is what you make it. So you get 24 hours in a day, but, like, some people do a lot in 3 hours, and some people don't do shit in 9 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I think the more you can compress time and get more out of your time and quit watching fucking Netflix because it's what all these people want you to do, like, you can really get out of this vehicle what it is you need to get out of this learning experience on this school of Earth.
Yep.
But I don't know. I got to do some more things. I got to do some more Alan Watts. But
I like it. You know what's funny, though? So seasons of life, I'll find people, or they'll find me in learning, and I'll find them. I'll find that they bring me a lot of peace, because I think one of the hardest things that people can do is intentionally force themselves to let their ideals and dogmas and beliefs die. It's a very hard thing to do. And I've been very intentional about it. What I mean by that is the things that I used to think or do or believe or behave, it's almost like bad habits. You got to kill a bad habit. Sometimes you got to kill a fucking belief.
Sometimes you got to kill a good habit.
And so I think if people will choose to go down that path of death and resurrection and force themselves into the great unknown, the abyss that is this, and whatever the fuck this is, it's really, really rewarding because it's a great place when you can wake up and know you don't know shit and have total peace about it. Knowing that if I die today, like, I don't have fear of, like, what's after it. The only reason I'm scared of death is that I would die for no reason.
Sure.
I don't want to die. Like, I was nervous about my hernia surgery because I thought, what if this is how I die because of the anesthesia? That's a shitty, pussy way to die.
Yeah.
You know? Let me go out saving a bunch of kids on a school bus.
Yeah.
You know? Or doing something terrible. I don't know, but
Yeah.
not that.
Right.
So that's what's not scares me, bothers me. Other than that, it's just like, no, go into that shit. It's almost like swimming in dark water at night. That's a terrifying thing.
So I was on a cruise one time, and the most terrifying sight I think I've ever seen is about midnight, going out on the balcony of a cruise ship, looking down. My buddy's at McCarter, McCarter, and I'm sitting there going, huh, well, that's about terrifying. Because that's darker than dark, blacker than black. It's literally looks like it's nothing. But if you go down there, imagine what's under you.
The thing about
And
the
you can't
ocean
see.
is it's like it's alive.
We're worried about space, and we haven't even conquered our own damn planet yet.
5% of the ocean. And the thing is, you can't even get to space because of the firmament that's above us that is impenetrable only through dimensional travel. Physically impossible. But don't get me started. Go watch a fucking Marvel movie and then come tell me about your ideas of space, podcast world.
Right?
But who am I? Just some soy boy beta cuck over here,
Right.
you know?
Let's go.
Who's getting back in the gym, getting big body, strong body boy.
Everybody's back on it now. Listen, so Tia's got a new schedule, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., which means she's home sleeping with Marcus in the mornings, which means 3:30 in the morning, alarm goes off, 4 o'clock, daddy's back in the gym.
Come on.
Which means find those supplements. Which means I'm going from 220 to 270 this year. Maybe 250. I don't know.
270.
250. I'm gonna say I need to level up this suit is what I'm
Okay.
gonna say.
Okay.
This thing's stretchy, right? I'm gonna test it. When I rip it, I win.
That's a good goal. You know what my goal is? Because I tried to get big last year, and it failed me because I have a hernia.
Sure.
Well, not anymore. I had one.
Yeah.
I've lost 20 pounds since October.
Yep.
So now I'm just going to try to look as Hollywood as possible.
Okay, I like that too.
My goal was to go lean.
Yep.
I want a big fucking chest.
Yep.
Big wiener.
Okay.
Okay?
That's doable these days also.
Very doable.
Yep.
Very doable. What the fuck's with this gnat
I don't
in
know.
here?
Every time I come
You,
here,
have
there's
you
a gnat.
seen it too?
Yeah, I've been. Yeah.
See that thing? Whoever that gnat is?
Yeah, go back to where you were.
Yeah, go back to
No,
what.
You're
Yeah,
not my soulmate.
No.
Go away. Anyway.
bitch. But no, I'm trying to get. I think if I can, I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to you about it because I'm sitting right now at like, I don't know, 194 pounds.
So let's take away the pounds. You
Okay.
want me to consult with you? I'll give you my
Come on,
consultation.
come on.
Free right
Consult
here
me.
live on
I'm also
Chat with
about
Gunner.
to start my cycle.
Okay,
So-
I'm about to talk about this because
Okay.
Daddy's 31 and he's about ready to go to the doctor. Okay.
Okay.
Or not the doctor. Who gives a shit, right? Whatever.
No rules.
The doctor has it in Google.
Yes.
So I would say if that's what you're going for, I need you to remove weight. Quit thinking of what your gravitational pull to a machine that
Sure,
tells you what
sure.
you weigh matters.
Okay, Ethan, you hear that? My weight's out of the picture. Fuck my weight.
Weight is out of the picture. All right. So now we're just going to go based off of what the mirror says.
That's all that matters.
Yep. The one thing that I do think you could get recorded is your body fat percentage. Now, that's bullshit, too. If you do the calipers, depends on if you do 1.2, 3, 5, 8, 7, whatever. People are going to do whatever point gives them below 10% body fat to be able to say on Instagram, I'm a model, right? DEXA scan, also kind of sketchy a little bit. So here's my main. If you want to get real serious, and I don't think it'd be too expensive, do a water scan to test your body fat, do a DEXA scan, and get a 6-point body measurement done. Now, use math we learned. Basic algebra. Take those 3, add them up together, divide by 3, and there is your most legit body fat percentage.
Okay.
Let's bring that down. And let's measure that every quarter.
Okay.
Or every 6 months or so. As long as you're bringing that down, you look good in the mirror, who gives a fuck what you weigh? Whether you weigh 113 pounds or you weigh 290 pounds. Everybody's so focused on weight, myself included, because I've been told my whole life, you got to be 240 pounds to be a good linebacker. You weigh 230? You weigh 220? You weigh 215? You look small. No, bitch. Like, it's about, like, if you measure your arms, you measure your waist and your body fat percentage, that's what it's about. It's not about weight. So
yeah, Ethan, remember that. Fuck my
I
weight.
challenge both of you to quit worrying about weight and worry about the mirror, because nobody can look at you and go, yeah, you look good, but you're about 171.
That's true.
Or you look good, but your body fat's probably about 13.
Yeah.
They're going to look at you and go, dude, you look great.
That's my goal.
So if you look good in the mirror, and you looking good in the mirror is going to be harder than someone looking at you telling you look good. So when you look good in the mirror, just fucking do that shit.
That's what I'm doing.
That's all you got. That's your Hollywood body.
That's all I'm doing.
And guess what? The more you eat, the more you're going to weigh. Less you eat, less you're going to weigh. Just worry about protein.
That's what I've been doing. I've been meal prepping. I've been eating like, what? How many eggs a day, Ethan? No, like 8 eggs a day, with meat, red meat, spinach galore.
I got a question about.
Yeah.
I got a Christian question.
Okay, maybe the wrong guy for that today.
No, but about food.
But, okay.
So you come from it. You're very well versed and you know the game. So like, if you're talking about Christians and drugs and Christians and food,
Sure.
What foods can a Christian eat and not eat before it's a sin?
Well, I think Christian Protestantism, there's no rules.
So I guess I'm talking about like
Catholicism and Jews, like, don't eat pork.
Why?
You can't eat fish during certain times.
But why?
Certain fish, like crustaceans, lobsters, they're bottom feeders. Apparently, they're not like healthy types of like. Let me ask you this: if you knew that your catfish was coming out of the Tennessee River Dam, would you still eat it on a consistent basis?
Yeah, probably not. Just
exactly.
Because of where it was born.
Sure. So it's things like that. So honestly, from a contextual standpoint in today's time, I don't fucking know.
Sure.
Like, here's the thing. If someone said, Chris, you got lobster and Pop-Tarts for the rest of your life, I'm probably going to eat the fucking lobster because I know that it's meat and it's like
Got
lives
protein.
it's healthier. So
Yeah.
when it comes to that, I don't fucking know.
Because I don't know. We talk a lot about the whole religious thing at work.
Sure.
Because I'm opposite side of the spectrum. Right?
Sure.
I'm a wire. I'm a questioner. I don't understand. Like, tell me why. Like, I'm that guy. We were talking about drugs, and I said I saw this YouTube video where this guy that was smoking weed was talking about how he gets a little bit closer to Jesus and other people that don't smoke weed because he just opens his mind up, different, all that stuff. And then I was told we got to be careful with that because that's a drug. And I was like, wait a minute. If it's a drug, then why did God create it? Why did he put it on the planet? And in its most natural form, you light that motherfucker on fire, you get high. And then you start seeing shit people aren't supposed to be seeing, but maybe we are. So why is that bad? But then alcohol's good. Did you just have coffee this morning? Pretty sure that's the number one drug. But those things are okay. So who's the person that's telling me what drugs are okay, what chemicals are bad, and which chemicals are not, when the most natural stuff is considered bad that lets you see things you're not supposed to be seeing, but the things that are chemicals that are supposedly good are actually worse for you and limit you from seeing shit?
It's all culture, man. So many people are pigeonholed by what they've been told. It goes back to what you said about planes and shit. It goes back to all these people that grew up in some Southern Baptist church. Weed's it's a gateway drug. No, it's not, motherfucker. I smoke weed every day now. I do. And I do it. And here's the thing. I don't do it as like a stoner. I was telling Ethan this earlier. I do it because of what I want to get out of it.
Yes.
I'm very, very intentional about it. I know that when and how I'm doing these things, I am trying to have moments of clarity,
creativity,
perspective. The list goes on. And so it's not like I'm sitting here and I'm blitzed out of my mind on methadone or some shit.
Yes.
I'm doing something that's going to last 90 minutes in a manner that is personally benefiting my life.
Right.
And so guess who doesn't drink alcohol anymore? Me. You know why? It doesn't serve me.
Yeah, it doesn't help you.
It doesn't help me.
That alteration is not good.
And so when people bring shit like that up, it's like, okay, cool. You lost me there, bub.
I just love when they come with weed, I go caffeine, and they go caffeine's legal. And I go, so now we're just worrying about what government says is legal and what's not.
And why did the government literally ban all types of psycho?
Because they don't want you seeing shit you're not supposed to see.
Yes, they don't want you to tap into what the fuck's right here.
And that old pineal gland.
Yeah. They don't want you to know that you have power and control over fucking nearly everything in your life. And if they can keep you honed in on that, guess what? You're going to be a good worker. And they're going to feed off your fucking negative energy and your fear and your sad fatness.
I need you to do a podcast. I'm going to bring Jordan in.
Okay. Jordan from
work.
Cool,
Dude,
cool.
one of my best buddies now. We've been working together now for almost 3 years. Love Jordan. We just have different views, and we agree to disagree. It's very simple with how that works. And we agree on a lot. But he's got the podcast, Bulletproof Faith. I want him to come in, maybe his buddy Joel, and I want you guys.
Please.
We can sit on this side. You're on a different side anyways. Like, you probably...
Yeah, I don't fit in with anybody.
Yeah, so, like, we can sit on different sides and have a conversation
100%
about... what is God? Who is God? What are our thoughts, ideologies, and why? I'm a whyer. You know, why? Cool, why?
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. It'd be a good show.
I love shit like that.
And I'd promote their show, promote our show, and be cool. Dude, thanks for jumping on. That was a lot. I was expecting 10 minutes of talking about non-solicits.
I was literally coming in here to get my shit so I could go home.
That's why I don't see. That's what you get when you hang out with me.
I don't mind. How do you like all these cameras?
Well, I was already looking at buying one of those for the office.
Okay.
For my setup.
You should.
$1,200 or whatever it is.
Cheap as shit.
I mean, dude, that's game changer right there.
You can max that camera out with everything that you're going to need. $3,000 total.
Okay.
After taxes, like anything and everything.
I'm looking into that seriously.
Okay. Ethan will help you out.
Yep, he told me. So yeah, man, I love the setup. I love the new these bad boys right here. Everything in here is looking great.
We're rolling, man. We got a lot happening. So one, we'll have to chat from our text earlier.
We've got to talk
and just fill you in on the bigness of what's happening here.
Yeah,
it's getting very bigly, very fastly.
Sure, I'm fired up, man.
So, well, thank you, sir.
Well, dude, thanks for coming on to the show and giving your insight. That is the Chat with Gunner podcast. So what was that? Episode 104? Felt like 104 and 105.
When are you doing this podcast with those boys?
Of those guys, we can do it whenever, so we just need to put our schedules together and figure it out.
Here's the thing. The sooner the better, because I'm going to have a kid and I'm going to be out of pocket.
When's the baby coming?
Technically the 30th, so...
As in this month?
Yeah, like the next 2 weeks would be ideal.
So, like, if you was to come to the even the office maybe during the day, we could probably knock it out.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, we'll get it done in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
You should bring them here, though.
So they can...
Just because. Yeah.
I'm with... Yeah, but... Yeah, I'm with you. Just
come
because.
on.
Chris wants to flex.
Well, hey, guys, subscribe to the channel, YouTube. We're going to... Ethan, help me figure out a way to get clips of this on LinkedIn because I've got a lot of shit that I said, and I need everybody to hear it. But YouTube, podcast, subscribe, comment, Spotify, all the stuff. We'll get it all uploaded, all updated, all ready to roll. And then tomorrow... Chris is going to like this news. Tomorrow, around maybe 10 a.m. if he's available, we were talking about coming in tonight, and I didn't know you would have not liked this, but it would have been cool anyways. Weston Womp is going to be coming onto the show tomorrow. So
Here?
No. We're going to do it. So I'm going to do it on StreamYard. We couldn't figure out a time, so webcam conference. But so he did our buddy's Bulletproof Faith podcast, and they asked a bunch of questions, but didn't really get anywhere. So my thing was like, hey, what does he do? And so they reached out and was like, hey, to get so our owner was like, hey, to get if you want to put your signs in our yard, you got to do Gunner's show. So I'm going to Joe Rogan him and just listen. I don't know. Listen, I'm completely unbiased. I don't know anything about him really, other than some like his dad, all that stuff, whatever. I don't care.
Can't stand the guy.
That's cool. I don't care. All I want to know is I looked at his.
I hope he hears that.
I just want to know, what do you do? Like, how does money go into your bank account? Like, what have you done? And then from there, I just want to know, like, what do you think about Trump? What do you think about Biden? What does the mayor actually do? What do you actually help? I truly don't know, don't care, but I would like to know for this show.
Sure.
So I need someone who's running to tell me why it's important. And I feel like there's no better person than him to do it right now, this time.
That's wonderful. Well, if this tells you anything, Weston Womp blocked me on Twitter during his first mayoral campaign because I started asking certain questions that really didn't shine a good light on him and his family, and so I got blocked.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'm
sorry,
gonna do
bub.
I'm just going to do it in a very listen. I'm not playing any sides. I'm not a fan
Sure.
of anyone. He has a chance to win me over as much as he has a chance to not win me over. And guess what? At the end of it, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to go around bad mouthing him. But I'm also not going to go around like being like, "Hey, go vote for this dude," if I don't know what he stands for and what he does.
Here's what local politicians stand for: votes. Because you know how many people are actually going to vote? You know how many Ethan, how many people voted in Ringgold's mayoral election? Like 500 people?
Yeah, out of
It's going to
maybe
be
1,000
less
or
than
two.
how many people do you think will actually vote in the city of Chattanooga?
Maybe a grand total of 4,000 to 5,000.
But check this out.
I'm going to go with 20, but still, it's dick.
You know what I'd rather have somebody tell me? If I'm like, "Hey, man, what does the mayor do?" "Oh, man, we don't really do anything." "Okay. So why are you doing this?"
Because I want to.
"Because I'm going to get paid a certain amount of money. It gives me a certain
I would respect that
I'm
so
gonna
much more.
get some publicity. I'm gonna get some clout. It's gonna help me move up. I'll probably get on the board somewhere of some company later on down the road, and maybe I can get into upper government or the Senate or the House, whatever it is.
Sure.
If someone tells me that and goes, "Dude, I just need votes," so I'm going around meeting as many people as I can, shaking hands and asking them to vote for me, knowing that every 10 hands I shake, only 2 are gonna do it. I will waste my time and go vote for the person who tells me that over the person that's like, "I'm bringing change."
I believe in family values
I'm
and
bringing
the
change.
education system.
So-
Go watch Weston Wamp's video, his latest one on his
I've
campaign.
stayed away from all of it.
It's so funny to me because it is the most cookie-cutter politician bullshit. Look at my kitchen, my modern barn kitchen that my wife designed with my children and my dog. Fuck off, dude. The world is so much bigger than this shit. This is why when I go into politics, watch out, because people will vote for me. Because one, I'll have built something that not on my dad's shoulders without a silver spoon, and I'll actually do shit that fucking matters. Not, I want to talk about the Hamilton County education system. Hey,
That's fair.
yeah. So you know what? When I hear shit like that, I hope it's a nightmare, and I hope you make them cry.
Well, listen, like I said, I'm unbiased. I literally do not know. Like, if I try to talk about him, I would be lying. So I don't know anything.
I get it. Totally get it.
So if anyone is in a good situation to be unbiased, to be able to interview or talk to someone running for a position that I have no clue what that position does. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't even know the city and county was separate. Like, I have zero clue when it comes to local politics.
What's funny is none of it really matters. Like, Weston, if you want to give me $1,000, I'll vote for you. That's how much it doesn't fucking matter.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Ethan, I just bribed a politician.
I truly,
I'm gonna have to cut that out.
No, we're good, we're good.
Leave it. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
There's no rules.
I truly just want to know, like, "Hey, man, what do you do? Cool. What do you stand for? All right, cool. What are you really going to do? What do you actually expect to happen?" Like, in the
You know, his sister's running
non-political
for
way.
DA at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Okay.
Which it's just like, come on, guys, move to a different town. Like,
yeah, and
start somewhere else.
so I've got questions about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a bunch of questions, and I hope that we answer them.
And then this is a conversation off the cuff that we can have later, but just information on politics in Chattanooga. And just, again, if people really knew what the fuck was going on behind the scenes, they would probably just be like, let's just burn down these buildings and just take care of our shit ourselves. It cracks me up. So, yeah,
Well-
go vote.
Hey, man. Well, anyway, so he's coming on to the show possibly tomorrow, if not after that, if he doesn't listen to the end of the show. But remember, I literally have no dog in this fight. I just have very basic questions that I think the average voter that doesn't even plan to vote may also have. And that's the person we need to start going after, not the people that are tied into the website. Anyways, subscribe, comment, like, follow us on all channels. If you can get me some clips put out on LinkedIn, I'll holler at you boys next week. Peace.